The way that a tabletop exercise would work is the first thing I want to do is meet with you to find out what are your risks to the organization. What are your big concerns? What are the concerns of the leadership board? The real concern nowadays is, of course, ransomware. No organization wants to face that. So that will almost always be a scenario that we go with. The second part of it is I'll craft, or whoever the advisory services individual is, will craft a scenario, maybe a couple scenarios that will have a variety of events or situations in them, and then we'll present that to the customer and say, does this work for you? Now, oftentimes we don't want to present it to everybody because we want to make sure that only a select one or two people are in on the scenario. We don't want to reveal the scenario to the whole organization. We want to make sure that we usually call them a trusted agent, that there's maybe one trusted agent who can verify the scenario and say that it's realistic. Because the worst thing is if you walk into an organization and the scenario is not realistic, they're gonna get upset right away and kind of poke holes in the scenario, and it won't be fun for anybody. So you wanna have somebody on the inside who can verify that the scenario can really happen and is realistic. From there, you'll move on to scheduling. In fact, you kind of want to do the scheduling in the beginning because getting a leadership board, getting an hour or two of their time blocked off altogether is really challenging. So scheduling can be the most challenging part of it. You're going to want to make sure that everybody is either in the same room or the same Zoom call for a 2-hour period, and then you're going to walk through this during execution time. You're going to walk through the scenario with the group. On the tail end of that, we want to allow 20 minutes at the end to do what's called a lessons learned. That is, we're going to ask everybody in the room. We might not ask everybody if we're short on time. We might just say who has a lesson learned, and we're going to document for them the things that they learned from the experience. Now, some of this we're going to document along the way. For example, if I hear somebody talking and saying, I didn't know that, or I didn't realize that, I'm going to document that along the way. But then at the end, we're going to make sure we capture all that and then put it into some kind of a document or some kind of an artifact for them to hang on to. Because like I mentioned before, a lot of organizations are required to do this, so we want to provide them some kind of an artifact that they can take to some certifying entity so they get credit for doing this scenario or this tabletop exercise.